All right, you guys, let's dig into the content. So this, I can't, off the top of my head, I don't know what year this book was written. Atomic Habits. It's by James Clear. But James kind of, and I'm going to tell you guys a really quick story before he walks away and I forget. We're on board and we're on board Serenade, and one of the concierges, he's like, I know you from somewhere. I know you from somewhere. And I'm like, I don't know. I was on a video and, you know, the Oasis class ships. Maybe you recognize my face from there. And then lo and behold, he got off ships and he attended one of our webinars. And he was like, that's where it's from. And he ended up coming back to do one more contract because they offered him to come and do the world cruise. And so it's just this reminder of that, like we're making all these micro deposits in all these little places, and how this community of crew is so big, so big, but it's so close. So you guys know that you meet people, you connect to people, and that's the beauty of what we do. So it's exciting to, from our perspective, is educate and propel former crew into what their future selves look like. So anyways, that was my side note on Fabio sitting next to me. So Atomic Habits, this book, James Clear wrote it. And James Clear, he basically studies and researches is what makes people create and keep their habits. And this was a really good start for us this year. And I'm just going to go through chapter by chapter, just high level summary of what the book has to offer. But just a reminder for us, we really have to ingrain into our brains is the difference between goals and habits. Everybody has this tendency to, and we just did one about goal setting. We did a webinar where we sat down and talked about doing our strategic plan for 2024 and being really intentional about what you want your year to look like. But this is taking us even a step back. And if you guys didn't listen to that webinar, please go online and listen to it, because it's just talking about doing a reflection with gratitude of what 2023 gave you, and also do a planning for what you want 2024 to look like. And it doesn't matter if you just plan the next 3 months, January, February, March, this is progress. So sit down, say, what do I want this year to look like? What are the things I want to do with my kids? What is the time I want to spend with my parents? Jesse Itzler talks about this, is that his parents are in their 80s and they live in Florida. And when he does the math, he only gets to Florida twice a year. And so if he estimates that his parents are going to live another, I think they're 85. So it was another 10 years that he only gets to see his parents 20 more times in his life. So that's pretty mind blowing when you sit down and you peel back the layers of time, when you peel back the layers. So that's why this planning of what your year looks like, your quarter looks like, is really important. But I think one of the things that in your planning process, there's a difference between a goal and a habit. So us making a goal and putting on our strategic plan, I want to lose 10 pounds. That's lovely as a goal, but what's the habit that you're going to establish to lose those 10 pounds? So for me is like, I want to have a healthy body, period. I want to have the old self, the dialogue that I got from my mom, who did Weight Watchers and Jane Fonda and all that type of stuff, and she was always on a diet. That my old dialogue is that, you know, diet, exercise, repeat. You're never going to be enough. But my new self goes, hey, I want to be healthy. What does a healthy person do? Okay, I want to make sure I have breakfast every morning. I want to make sure that I move my body for 30 minutes a day. So one of my habits that I put on my strategic plan is I want to move my body for 30 minutes a day. That might just be walking. That might be doing weights, but this gives you this freedom. And he talks about the evidence to instill something in a very simplistic way that then makes it a regular thing in your life. So when you wake up, then you brush your teeth, then you drink your protein shake, then you take your vitamins. It's this concept that he presents about habit stacking. So you know you brush your teeth every day. So put your vitamins right next to your toothbrush, and your you're never going to forget to take your vitamins. Put your protein shake right next to the coffee maker, because you already have the existing habit of making coffee. So utilize that habit by stacking another one that you want to create. But be really, really kind to yourself and be really, really gentle in saying that, not that I'm fat or not that I'm overweight, not that I need to lose weight, but saying, hey, in a deeper place in myself is I want to live longer for my kids. I want to be a healthy person. I want to reflect habits that really is going to change my life. It's not for someone else. It's not for what the world thinks of me. So the first chapter is called The Surprising Power of Atomic Habits. So what he does in this first chapter that you guys listen to is he presents a concept of the habits that, like I said, by putting the vitamins next to the toothbrush, these are small, consistent changes that lead to significant improvements over time. This concept of habit stacking, that if you are stacking one habit on top of another, so when I brush my teeth, I put my audiobook in because I want to like feed myself 30 minutes of content every single day. When you start doing that stacking and you do that over the course of a year, you have a 37 times improvement in your behavior by doing that habit stacking. He talks about this is the concept of compounded interest of self-improvement. You guys, I think, all understand the concept of compounding interest in money. So you put $100 in the bank, that $100 compounds interest, it becomes 105, then that 105 becomes 100, and whatever the math is, 15, how quickly you can start building on your habits, but utilize the ones that you already have established in your life. And on the flip side of that is he talks about how it can work for us or against us. So you can stack your habits in a way that's intentional, that improves yourself, or you can stack your habits in a way that dilutes yourself, so that everybody has been there, that they're like, well, I had pizza tonight. So who cares? I'll just have a second glass of wine. Why not have a bowl of ice cream while I'm at it? I already fell off the truck. Like, might as well just like go straight into the ground. So that our stacking can be in our favor, or a stacking can be in our dismay, I guess. Anything to add to that, Christian? Chapter 1, the surprising power.
Just that last part of the stacking, yes, 100%. So, I mean, it's happened to us all, right? It's you, and even throughout the day, you have a bad moment, and you think, oh, I had a horrible day. It's like, no, you had a bad moment. It's just one layer out of the few. So it's stacking the positives and the negatives, but sticking to the positives more so.
Yeah, absolutely. So his second chapter, which I absolutely love this, and I talked a little bit about this, is how your habits shape your identity and vice versa. And so this is deciding, he basically explores this idea of that our habits not only reflect our identity, but it shapes it. So us being able to say, me being able to say is, I am a healthy person. That becomes a part of my identity. And me repeating that, not, oh my God, I've gained 10 pounds, is going, no. I'm starting the year knowing that I am a healthy person. What habits do healthy people do? And, we're on board a cruise ship right now. Healthy people don't order the pasta at dinner. Healthy people order the fish. And so being able to say, like, I can go and I can sit and I can have a meal and I can make healthy decisions. It becomes a part of my identity, and that stacks onto my behaviors. Healthy people move their body 30 minutes a day. Healthy people, and you begin to embody who you want to become. And he really emphasizes in this chapter the importance of changing our beliefs about ourselves to make the habit change more effective. And this is pretty psychological, is that you have to work on what's happening up here to really truly allow the habit to take hold. Is that if you have this belief that you're a healthy person that's going to live until they're 100, that they're going to eat well, that and that's the dialogue that you're having, then you are going to see how your habits are like glue into what you're doing. but us having those affirmations and us having those things that become a part of our identity is huge. And then chapter 3 is how to build better habits in 4 simple steps. And this is the part that I love about the book and about how he teaches, is he gives you the steps on how to build better habits. So if you have struggled at any point in your life adopting a habit, or you're trying to go back and how do I add a new one, look back to see what are the things that you do on a consistent basis, and how do you repeat, how did you get to that place, and how do you repeat it? So he introduces a 4-step framework that is cue, craving, response, and reward. And he has this really cool, and on the summary, the 16-minute summary video, you'll see the visual of it. It's known as the habit loop. So the habit sits in the middle, and then you have the cue, the craving, the response, and the reward. What are those things that you're doing to make sure that you say it's going to the gym, you put your tennis shoes by the side of your bed in the morning. And so the second, that's your cue. Oh, I got to go to the gym. I got to walk. I got to do whatever it is. And then how you reward yourself, how you respond to it, how you encourage yourself to doing that action that you want to become permanent. And then he explains how to apply this framework and then build positive habits. And also the equal part of it is breaking negative ones. So one of my negative habits is to have ice cream before I went to bed. And why would I do that? Because my dad always has ice cream before he goes to bed. It was just like this thing that you did in my house, that I would have ice cream. And so it was saying, okay, I'm a healthy person. Healthy people probably don't eat ice cream before they go to bed. So what do healthy people do? And oh my God, I love like chocolate peanut butter ice cream. Like that's so American. But what I do is that, breaking my negative ones, is I put it in like we have a refrigerator in our garage. So I put it in the most difficult place. It's a stand-up freezer. Sorry, it's a stand-up freezer. So I put the ice cream in like the back corner of the freezer, and then put all stuff in front of it. So it's really complicated to get to. That was one. It was like it would probably be not buying it, but I didn't have that much self-control at that point. But B would be hiding the ice cream that I did mint chocolate chip. Yes, she's on my wavelength. And keeping it in the back of the freezer, but also replacing it. So just saying, okay, what I would do is I would replace it with fruit. And so I would always keep fruit, and I would say, okay, Barbara, you want ice cream. I'm not denying myself the ice cream, but I want something cold or something to eat. So I replace it with like a fruit popsicle or fruit or something. And if I still want the ice cream afterwards, then I can still have the ice cream, but I got to do a lot of work to get to the ice cream. So our positive, the shoes by the side of the bed, and our negative ones are equally moving up and down within this realm of our life. Any bad habits you wish to share, Christian, with the team?
Nope, all good habits here.
Yes.
Maybe I'll disclose a few as the days go by, but right now I'm just listening to your bad habits.
All he has is good habits. All he has is good habits. No ice cream in the back of the fridge. So chapter 4, the man who didn't look right. So he tells the story of this man, Jerry, who transformed his life by focusing on small habit improvements. And I can't remember whether this is the guy that went to the gym for like a minute every day, but I think it was. Well, we'll have to go back and read it. But he illustrates, it was this gentleman who he wanted to create the habit of going to the gym. So he would put on his full gym clothes, drive to the gym, walk inside, lift at 108, and then leave. And then his 1 minute became 5, became 20, became 30. So that everybody's going, what is this guy doing? But most people go full in on the gym, and they're like, I'm going to work out for 2 hours every single day. And that lasts for 5 days in January. And Jerry did the opposite, where he goes, no, I'm going to do from small to large, and establish a habit first and foremost. And the point of this is he really illustrates how small little changes can lead to significant results over time. So say you don't have time to do something that is part of the new you, is that you're going, okay, but so mine was, I'm going to have physical movement 30 minutes a day. And whether that's going to the gym and doing an intense workout, or whether that's just walking within my neighborhood. And then what did I do? One day I was like, okay, I'm going to go for a walk, and it started raining. And I was like, oh, it's raining, can't go for my walk. And I'm like, no, Barbara, like, people all over the world walk in the rain or in the snow or in the cloudy or and we're in Miami, so we're not talking like freezing weather. So I'm gonna get a rain jacket, put it on, and go for a walk. So just going like, no, this is the thing that I'm doing, and I have to adjust my thinking and not my excuses. So chapter 5 is the best way to start a new habit. So Clear talks about in this area is the ideas of making habits easy to start and reducing friction. So we talked about the shoes by the side of the bed, but think about what are those things as you put on your strategic plan, as you put on what are those things of your identity of who you want to be. Maybe it's the planning of your day. Maybe it's cooking a meal for your family. Is that think about what are those things that could be made easier for you, and it's super easy. And then he introduces the idea of the 2-minute rule. If a habit takes less than 2 minutes, do it now. So if it's taking the trash out, if it's taking your vitamins, if it's sitting down and writing 5 things that you're grateful for, don't allow your mind to trick you, because we will prevent and procrastinate. So listen immediately. And even if it's walking for 2 minutes or doing a few push-ups or sit-ups, make sure that you're not rejecting the concept and doing it immediately. Next chapter is motivation is overrated. Environment often matters more. And I find this very interesting. So Clear argues that motivation is fleeting and unreliable. And all the stuff that he presents is pretty much based on research. Is that we can start off the beginning of the year. You can go on this webinar, but you can be like, yes, I listen to this podcast, I'm going to go do this thing. But really, truly evaluating what's the thing that you want to become, what's the thing that you want to do, and design your environment to make it easier to have those habits as a part of your life. And the other side of it is your undesired habits, aka the chocolate peanut butter ice cream, make it harder to reach them. So if you like go to the grocery store and buy 5 bottles of wine every single week, like, buy one and make the habit harder to reach. That if you want to drink wine or whatever that things that you're trying to change, maybe yours is whiskey, that you have to drive to the store to get the whiskey, or you buy the teeny tiny little thing. You buy the teeny tiny little one. So when you want to do it, you have to go above and beyond. Christian, why are you laughing?
What, and carry it in your back pocket?
No, it's like your ration or something.
Oh, okay.
So again, motivation is overrated. Environment matters more. So going, how do I adjust my environment so I can grow this habit? And this is putting fruits on your kitchen counter versus a tray of pastries, right? This is, and for me, I had this habit of going to Dunkin' Donuts every morning when I went to my Amazon business. Then I changed my route. I drove it on a different street because it had become such a habit for me to pull in to get the coffee that had 5 million grams of sugar in it, that I'm like, nope, I'm going to go down this different street and I really want the coffee. I'm going to turn and make the detour and get the coffee. But 9 times out of 10, I was good with the water. So just thinking about that stuff. 7, the secret of self-control. So Clear explores the idea of willpower as a limited resource and the importance of conserving it. So he suggests that habits are a way to automate your self-control by making the right choices easier. So we are creatures that want to satisfy whatever desire that we have. If it's hunger, if it's fun, if it's whatever that thing is your habits are a way to keep you focused on the higher version of yourself, keep you focused on what your true outcome and your true desire is and what your true identity is. Chapter 8 is how to make a habit irresistible. So he talks about the role of craving habit formation and how we make good habits more appealing. So this goes back to a little bit of the habit cycle, the rewarding of yourself. And what we talked about earlier, he talks about the concept of the habit stacking to link a new habit to an existing one. It's just getting rid of the barriers to get you to your habit pattern. Next one is the role of friends and family shaping your habits. You guys all know this, and really truly a lot of like the exercise and in the wellness world is he talks about this idea of social influences on your habits, and he emphasizes the importance of surrounding yourself with people who support your desired habits. And it's really this idea is, if you work out with people who go to the gym 3 or 4 times a week, and they're going to ask you, where were you, or text you and say, where were you, then this helps you become more accountable. If you are trying to stop drinking or smoking, which would be a great, and you're hanging out with those friends that smoke, how are you going to quit that habit? Drinking, same thing, but really making sure that you're surrounding yourself by the people that have the similar desire in who they wish to become, that you start leveling up and you start growing. Chapter 10 is how to find and fix the causes of your bad habits. So he introduces the idea of root causes and how to identify them and address the bad habits. It's just going, okay, my dad was the one that ate ice cream at night. It was like this guilty pleasure that we had in my house. Where did it come from? It's not a bad thing. I have great memories of it as a child, but maybe I don't want my kids to repeat that. So me thinking, all right, I'm just going to slowly change what it becomes. And maybe 7 nights a week of ice cream is not a great thing. Maybe 6 nights a week of fruit and 1 night a week of ice cream is okay. And getting your family or getting yourself into that habit. 11, walk slowly but never backwards. So Clear talks about the value of gradual and consistent habit formation. So once you've mastered a habit in a very, very gradual way, don't think in extremes, don't think in goals. Think about your true outcome and do it in a very slow, methodical way. What is the simplest thing? What's that 1 minute that Jerry in the gym does? What are the things that I could do to get there? If it's reading, that I keep a book next to my bed, and I'm not allowed to scroll on social media until I read 1 page of my book. And then eventually, for those of you who are readers, 1 page becomes 2 pages, becomes a chapter, becomes 30 minutes, and then you're not even looking at your phone. Or a lot of people keep their phone out of their bedroom and they charge it in another location in another room. And would you believe it, that despite your phone being in another room, the world keeps turning, right? Isn't this miraculous? That the world keeps turning despite us not being connected 24/7. And so how to address the bad ones, and then really self-awareness and tracking habits to discover what are their triggers. So going, okay, at this point in time in this day, I always do this thing that I don't like or I regret. Why am I doing it? Okay, I'm feeling lonely. Oh, I had a bad conversation with my mom. She's complaining again at me. So I'm going to have a glass of wine to make myself feel better. So really going, okay, what is that thing that's leading to me having bad thoughts about myself, having bad thoughts about my goals, and you might have to eliminate some conversations from your life, some interactions. You might have to eliminate the way that you drive to work, because you always stop at that place. So really, truly, that's gets down to the root cause of why you're doing the habit. And then he talks really about the walk slowly but never backward. He talks about focusing on getting 1% better each day rather than striving for perfection. Again, this is about moving your 7 nights a week of ice cream to 5 nights a week, or just weekends, or just weekdays. Is that just trying to get 1% better in an area, and not being, and I think that this goes across all of our life, and not immediately labeling ourselves as we failed at this. Like, oh, I'm never going to be good at working out. I'm never going to be consistent in the gym. Oh, I always start it and I always stop it. It's because we have aimed too high. We need to aim for the one teeny tiny percent improvement. Hey, I opened a book today. That's a celebration. Hey, I put and you guys will laugh at me. Um, I have a book in my bag. This is a fiction book. I just started reading fiction books. Like, I put the book in my bag. I haven't opened it in like a week. Um, but at least it's going around with me. And eventually I'm going to say, all right, after I do this, I'm going to, after I hang up from talking to my mom, which I talk to my mom every day, is I'm going to read 3 pages from my book. The law of least effort. So Clear discusses how humans are naturally inclined to conserve energy. So this is why we feel lazy sometimes. Like, we are naturally inclined to go through the path of least resistance. So he suggests that habits that require less effort are more likely to stick. So my book trick is I want to read more. So I'm always going to have a book in my purse and think about the times in your life that you have to wait. I know Christian just went and did like paperwork or something, and I'm sure doing paperwork in Mexico is a joy. At a bank or at a doctor, wherever, is you just have to wait. So we can sit and we can get pissed off about the waiting, or we can have a book in our bag. We can have Atomic Habits in our bag. We can have it on our phone, and we can just put our earbuds in. We can open the book. And the people that look at me like I have 3 heads when I pull a book out of my purse and sit and read it, because we're all just used to looking at each other like zombies scrolling on phones. Can you imagine? Like, just think over the next week, if every single person that you saw sitting somewhere, that if you visually take the phone out of their hand and replace it with a book, what you would think you walked into an alternate reality of people scrolling mindlessly versus turning pages in paper. And call me old school, I don't really care, but there's just something to that would change how we feel because really the scrolling and the addiction to the interaction and the engagement, it's something that just raises our anxiety. And so going like, what are the things that are making me nervous? What are the things that I want to have stick in my life? And how do I put that in a way that's easy? Chapter 13 is how to stop procrastinating. So he talked a little bit about that before, using the 2-minute rule. So he provides strategies for overcoming procrastination by making tasks more manageable. And then he introduces again the 2-minute rule as a way to start tasks and build momentum on them. Chapter 14 is the first. So he gives 4 laws, which are really, really good. And if you get nothing out of this, if you don't read anything about this, read the chapter 14, 15, 16, 17. The first law is make it obvious. So making a cue or trigger. This is the vitamins by your toothbrush. This is the tennis shoes by your bed. Making it obvious what you want to achieve, and then making the other ones, the ice cream in the back of the freezer. And then really making them more attention grabbing. And like, you can do something as simple as like put a note on your mirror or put something on your door as you're walking out, to saying like, I am a healthy, I'm healthy and I'm going to live till I'm 100, for example. To be able to start brainwashing yourself into who you are intended to be. Make it attractive. It's the second law, chapter 15. So he talks about making the craving attractive. So offers insights on how to associate positive emotions with the desired habits. And that one's really, really great. Third law is make it easy. He explores the third law of making the response easy. He shares techniques for simplifying habits and reducing friction. So one of the things that I wrestled with, like whenever I went to the gym, is I would go to this like, oh my God, does this shirt look bad on me? Oh, does this thing, da, 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 da. I would have this like whole dialogue in my mind about what shoes I matched with what shirt and da, da, da. Then I realized there's literally one workout shirt that I like, one style, and one short that I like. And so I just wear those. It's like I literally have 2 shirts and 2 shorts, and that's the only ones that I wear. And I got rid of the rest of them because I kept on going, oh, well, I used to fit into this, or I did da, 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 and just reducing the friction of it not happening. It was something simple as that. And then the fourth law is make it satisfying. So Clear introduces the fourth law, make the rewards satisfying. And he talks about immediate rewards in the habit formation. So after you do something, you are going to go out to lunch or buy that smoothie or connect to that person. Decide what those rewards are going to be for yourself versus the punishments for yourself. And, you know, each person is different. Like, do you do better by setting a goal and rewarding yourself, or do you do better by punishing yourself? And my punishment was like my workout class. I think I've told you guys before, they charge you $15 if you don't show up to the class. So that was some form of punishment to get me to go. I would sign up the night before, and you would know that I would get out of bed and go to this class. So make it satisfying. And then chapter 18 and 19. So 18 is about how to go from merely being good to being great. And he talks about the principles of atomic habits and how they can help you achieve exceptional results. And I believe it's him, Christian, correct me if I'm wrong, that talks about the bicycle team, the English bicycle team. Is it him? I think it's him.
I'd be lying to you if I tell you I remember. No.
Oh, okay. I'm pretty sure it's him, you guys. I'm 99, but we're all going to find out as we read this, is that he talks about it is England's cycle team.
Yes,
And like Tour de
in the first chapter. In the first
Yeah,
chapter,
okay.
yes.
Okay, Mapuli, amazing. Thank you. So he talks about how they made all these teeny, tiny tweaks, from the material on their uniform to the pillows that they slept on to the paint on the inside of their trailer that moved the bikes. So this is such a blatant, as individuals, we try to go for, I want to be 30% better. But our challenge is really, you actually can get to 50% better, but you got to do it 1% at a time. So that's a really, really good start and story to get you guys motivated to get to that 1%. This is about like, I put workout clothes on today, like, woohoo. And because you're already in the gear, that there's a much higher likelihood that you're going to take an extra lap around the deck, or you're going to do something that starts getting you that 1% closer. And then really the importance of continuous improvement and maintaining those habits over time. None of us want to be in a position where every single year we're doing these New Year's resolutions that are totally, completely, crazily unachievable. We want to do the stacking of, I'm going to get 1% better, 1% better, 1% better. And it can be something as simple as getting out of bed with only snoozing your alarm 3 times instead of 7, whatever the thing is that you do, or going to bed earlier, or calling people. So think about what are those things. And really, truly, his last chapter is in the end, it's about mastery. Once you read this book, you should be able to be at a place where you can really, truly start to master habits and put new ones in a very, very easy way, because you have a system to be able to do it. So as we're navigating this new life, like from my kids to my husband, our entire world is turned upside down because of our habits are completely different. So I'm going, okay, what does my new day look like? What are my new habits? Because there's nobody checking in on me. I'm the accountability person. And so how do I come up with consistency? How do I come up with what I want my life to look like, my day to look like? And he just talks about this idea of mastery and really continuous improvement for long-term success. And this is the joy of pairing this with what we talked about, our strategic plan, is that you can do this on a 3-month basis and go, yeah, I mastered that in 3 months. I mastered putting my workout outfit on every single day. Go Barbara. I didn't get to the gym yet, but it doesn't matter. I put the habit into place of, and I guarantee you guys, if it's, and workout is this really simple analogy, and I just talk about it because it's something that I do not like to exercise, but now I've learned to like it. And it's funny, in the gym here, like the first day I went to the gym, I was like, 45 minutes in the gym, running, wait, da, 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 da. And then I went like 5 days without going. And I'm like, yeah, because I went so intensely and it just wasn't me. And so now I'm like, all right, Barbara, go in, just machine. Just get on the machine. Like, and it doesn't matter how much you do. I got on the machine. Then just do the weights. Then all of a sudden, there was a group of people that we were in the gym at the same time every single day. And so I'm like, okay, these are my people. So now we've built this community. This is my accountability. And I saw the guy, I was like, I didn't see you in the gym yesterday. It's like, oh, well, this is this. But you get this excitement, this adrenaline, because it's this continuous improvement. And you have this community that you're building to get you there. So guys, that is my high level summary of the 19 chapters. I hope you are excited to read the book or reread the book. I think that this is like a book that you should read once a year, if not once every 2 years, because it's so good. And I have that list of books in my mind, and hopefully we'll start going through them. But I think the beauty of doing this journey together is us being able to listen or read the content, and then go, okay, how do I apply this to my life? And we got 20 days to do it in. 20 days, which is actually 21 days. And I think that, like, for me, it's, you get to watch Christian and I go on this talking
Sorry to
about it. Go
interrupt.
ahead, Christian.
Funny enough, that's the number of days that are needed to build a habit.
That's what I was thinking. It's so funny. 21 days. So none of this stuff happens by accident, I think. And all of this was connected to me being at sea and internet and books. And I think that this is a really, really great start for us. I hope it motivates you guys to really think differently about what your year could look like. And again, we're in this to connect and to encourage crew members to come up with, what do you want your life to look like on land? What do you want? We've talked about like the tactical things about finding employment, but let's also talk about, okay, what are the things that I want to do to find a job? Is it going on LinkedIn every single day and making 5 contacts, 1 contact, and go to the 2-minute rule? Is it posting something? Is it sharing an article? What are the things that you want to put into your life that's directly related to the person, not goal, the person that you want to be? Okay. So Christian, what did I miss in any of this? I know it's a long dialogue from me today, so I want to be sensitive, and questions that you guys may have, or barriers. I think let's get real.
Well, I think you covered it all. It's a good overview of what we're gonna walk into. To be very honest, I would love to tell you all, like, yes, I'm 100% committed and looking forward to this. But I'm always, you know me, I'm always challenging myself to be extremely honest. And there's like 70% of me wants to do this. Another 30% of me doesn't want to, because deep down, we all have this conscious level, right? Like this level of consciousness. And I know the stuff that I need to change. But also, I really want to challenge myself into seeing that maybe it's not about denying or depriving ourselves from the ice cream or the little pleasures in life, right? Maybe it's just finding, at the end of the day, we're still full of habits. Whether we see it or not, I'm full of habits. So it's just going to be a matter of replacing some little here and there. But there's always that resilience to change. I don't know. Like, I'm just being super honest. I mean, it's not like, yes, 100%, I want to do this. But this is where you guys are helping out, because we're holding all of ourselves accountable into this journey that we're going to embark into. So thank you all for showing up today, and we're all going to hold each other accountable for pushing ourselves through the finish line.
Yeah, and guys, the book is 5 hours, and we have 20 days, so that's 15 minutes a day. That's it. I mean, none of us can raise our hand and say that there's not something that we do that wastes time for 15 minutes a day. So it's 15 minutes a day listening to something. And I would even encourage you that when you are listening or reading, is that you take notes. Just take notes and write down what pops out for you, because I think that will be important. And there's so much research that talks about your mental retention when you write things down. I can spew this stuff at you all day long, but how Michelle hears it, how Damien hears it, how John hears it is going to be very different to what I hear, because you know your habits, you know what your barriers are to creating habits. And the goal really, again, is designing this life that you want, designing who you know yourself to be and to become. So I'm excited for us to do this. And I'm also welcoming any suggestions. If you guys have other books that you want us to look at for the next month, I think this is going to be a good start. And any questions? Any questions, comments, anything they want to contribute? Michelle?
I think I'm with Christian when
That's good.
there are barriers, I will say, because one, all of us are older, we're not young, we're kind of set in our ways. So I think that's one of
Yep.
the issues that some of us might have with this. Two, these are the kind of books that are hard for me to get into. So I have started this book. I actually got it last year when you talked about it, but I couldn't get into it then. And so I'm listening to it. And again, what Christian said, like, oh, with the diet or the exercise, because that's even one of the things that my mom's doctor said, like, don't take away the things that you really want, because it's
Yep.
setting actually like it's setting a bad habit for yourself. It's giving you a negative connotation about things when you can probably have it in moderation, or you can change it up. You could do, the low fat, like you can make your own like peanut butter and chocolate, say, with the pudding mix and the cottage cheese, and get something similar. So I'm kind of with Christian. And I think the other issue I have to this is because I read so many books like this at my first job. You can ask Christian. I would come up to Christian and say like the weirdest comments to him and explain it to him when I worked for him. And I'm like, okay, Christian, remember, you have to begin with the end in mind. Remember, consistency creates credibility, because the first job I ever had, they were very like, who stole my cheese, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Like, I've read so many of these books, and we're like, they would give us worksheets to tell us like, how can you do this? How can you implement this into your everyday life? And so like, I would be in a meeting with Christian and being like, remember this. And Christian is just like, oh my gosh, Michelle, where do you get this from? So like, I think that's also part of it, is that like I was so ingrained in this when I was younger, that like looking at this and being older and getting back into this, it's like, well, I don't know if I would necessarily do it that way. Like, I'm older, I know that this is something that will be harder for me to do. Like, I went back and looked at my strategic plan to see what I put before and updated a little bit to see like what is actually feasible. So because I said before, like my tagline, like my goal is always strive for progress, not for perfection, because I am a perfectionist and I get upset when I don't hit those goals or targets. So I always have to take myself back and be like, have you made progress? This doesn't have to be perfect. Have you made a little progress? So I'm with Christian. It's a little bit hard for me to get into it. And, I understand what worked for him and probably trying to adjust for me. So I understand where you're coming from, Christian. Like,
But that's
trying
good.
to
That's
make
good,
this,
Michelle.
yeah. So we'll see how I get through it. But yeah, I don't really have that much left to finish in the book. But yeah. And then one more
Okay.
thing for you, since you're on the 9-month cruise. I actually was on like one of the smaller ships, and we had a couple families that were doing their around the world journeys. Like, they had gone on the ship, not just like that. They were starting, one family was starting a year of traveling, and another family was ending their year of traveling. So something that can maybe take some time with your family: buy postcards from every port, have your kids write a memory, or just once a day, like write something like their best or their worst part, or draw a picture. Or you can even buy like a little Instax camera, where like one of the little ones that has like a sticker on the background, and take like one picture a day. And that's something that they can do 5 minutes, or you guys can do together 5 minutes as a family, or like have a little journal. And at the end of your 9 months, then you have like a little memory scrapbook, or things that you might have forgotten, or even if it's just once a week, like what was your favorite part of the week? And then that's something that you guys can have at the end, and they'll be able to keep that forever.
I love that. That's so good. I was just talking to the kids about that yesterday. So that's great. And I think maybe we can like use the C days as like our good reflection time for the day before. And they haven't started school yet. They start school in about 2 weeks. And so I've been talking to them about, hey, this is I also gave them the option of doing a video like recording a video on their iPads, and I'm like, just to on their own capture, hey, what did I think of that day? So that's awesome. Thank you for sharing that, Michelle. We don't want to miss a second of this. So cool. Well, good. You guys, it's January 2024. I was laughing, telling somebody that, like, here you meet everybody from all over the world. And I was like, oh, we've lived in Miami for 18 years. But the irony is, I don't feel like I'm even 18 years old. So I'm like, when you say that stuff out loud, I'm like, oh, I was on ship. I started on ships 20 years ago, 20, but I don't feel like I'm 20. Like it's just this, like, we're living in this virtual reality of time that, like, we don't get older. We don't, we don't create. It's crazy to think that we have things that are ingrained habits in who we are, and they're ones that maybe we don't like, or they're ones that we love and we want to do more of them. So let's think about what our future looks like. Watch Blue Zones if you haven't watched it yet on Netflix, because it's so inspirational, looking at all these cultures and looking at what people do. And, I'm excited for you guys to have the best 2024 ever. And we're going to talk again on January 31st. But please make sure that on social media, you guys are connecting and interacting as Christian and I post what we're doing. Christian, are you the first one to post, or am I? I can't remember.
You take the lead, and then I'll do the second one.
Okay,
And then we'll
okay,
just
okay, okay.
make like that. If you
Yeah.
guys, if anybody prefers to have the ebook rather than the audiobook, and you're struggling to get it, just send me an email. Either myself or Wilhelmina send us an email, and we'll be more than happy to help out. Okay, just shoot us a text. But I'm really looking forward to this.
Yeah.
Michelle, I know that we've done it before, we've tried it before, but also the psychology and the mindfulness field is not where it used to be 20 years ago. I know that
Yeah.
it keeps them building up. So there's different methods, there's different things so let's see what's out there right now.
Yeah, for sure.
Maybe this one will
Good
stick.
point.
Yeah, I have
Good
to
point.
I have to get back into it, that's for sure. Oh, there's also one more thing that my friends and I do every year. It's the Pop Sugar Reading Challenge. So if you're having trouble like finding books to read, they have like lists of different like writing prompts, like book prompts. And so you can, even now, they've done it for like so many years, you can actually go back and like find a year that maybe kind of fits what you want a little bit more. And so like my friends
Ooh.
are doing the 2024 one, but like I started doing it in like 2021, 2022. So it's usually like 45 books, but it's not like you have to hit every prompt, but sometimes it helps you read books that aren't in your comfort zone or that you wouldn't have like gone
I
and read
love it.
before.
I love
So
it. I've
that's
never
also
heard of
something
that.
if somebody wants to like find some different kind of books to read. So yeah.
I love that. Oh, so cool. Never even heard of it, but that's exciting. I'm going to check it out. All right, amazing people. It's going to be a great year and a great book. Let's do these atomic habits together. Comment, interact, and keep us posted. Thank you guys for attending. Thank you for showing up for yourself. I think that's the most important thing. Okay, bye.
Thank you.